The MACC has fined 80 individuals and entities, including Datuk Seri Nazir Razak's brother, Datuk Seri Nazir Razak, for allegedly receiving money originating from 1MDB. The anti-graft agency says up to 420 million ringgit siphoned from the Sovereign Wealth Fund went to these parties. It is seeking 25.7 million ringgit from Nazir alone, which is the highest compound for an individual listed. The other notable names on the MACC's list are ex-Deputy Finance Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Maslan and former Felda Chairman Tan Sri Shahrol Abdul Samad. Meanwhile, the highest fine for an entity was for Solar Shine, which allegedly took 134 million ringgit of the misappropriated monies. Solar Shine is an event organising company hired by Najib to promote his One Malaysia concept to non-Malays. MACC Chief Commissioner Latifah Koya says the fines range from as low as the amount received from 1MDB to as high as 2.5 times of that amount. The parties have 14 days to pay up or face prosecution. Khazanah National is planning to cut its debt by about 12 billion ringgit within the next 3 to 5 years. Managing Director Datuk Seri says the fund wants to reduce its debt to 35 billion ringgit from 47 billion ringgit currently. He was speaking to reporters after Economic Affairs Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Azmin Ali indicated today that Khazanah is identifying assets for sale. Azmin, who is also a board member of Khazanah, said the fund's asset sale is not something unusual. He explained that Khazanah needs to make strategic considerations based on market conditions to create value for its assets. The plan is to reinvest the money raised from the disposals into other assets to ensure better returns for Khazanah, which in turn will be able to declare higher dividends to the government. Steel producers Anju Resources and Southern Steel are setting up a joint venture focusing on the long product steel manufacturing business. Under the proposal, Southern Steel will be selling its entire equity interests, including assets and liabilities, of its units Southern Steel Rod, Southern Steel Mash, Southern PC Steel and Dan Steel to the JV company for 742.5 million ringgit. Meanwhile, Anju will be disposing of its entire interest in Anju Integrated Steel, Anju Steel and Saga Makmur Industry to the JV company for 907.5 million ringgit. This new JV company will be a 45% associated company of Southern Steel and a 55% subsidiary of Anju via the issuance of new ordinary shares. The two companies say the move is aimed at achieving business efficacy and synergistic benefits. Times have been tough on most steel players, hurt by the oversupply of steel products, especially from China. The situation was made worse after Putrajaya put on hold several large infrastructure projects, citing financial constraints. Ex-1MDB CEO Datuk Shahrol Azral Ibrahim Halmi believes that 1MDB Energy's listing in 2015 could have been successful if not for the negative media publicity spread by the then opposition. During cross-examination by Defence Counsel Tan Sri Muhammad Shafi Abdullah, Shahrol said the funds raised from the IPO would have saved 1MDB from its financial woes and enabled it to expand its energy business. He says Bandar Malaysia would have proceeded and TRX would have been completed in 2017. According to Shahrol, the total valuation of 1MDB Energy was 20 billion to 25 billion ringgit in terms of market capitalisation, with the team looking to float a third of the value. Putrajaya will roll out a targeted fuel subsidy scheme for recipients of the Cost of Living Aid Programme Bantuan Sara Hidup on January 1, 2020. Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail says the subsidy rate is 30 ringgit a month for cars and 12 ringgit a month for motorcycles. The cash will be credited directly into the accounts of the recipients once every 4 months. However, the scheme is only applicable for motorists based in Peninsular Malaysia with cars with 1,600cc engines and below, or those with engines above 1,600cc and are over 10 years old. Motorcycle owners are eligible if their rides have engines of 150cc and below, or are over 150cc but are 7 years and older. As for motorists in Sabah, Sarawak and Labuan, The price of RON 95 petrol will be capped at RM2.08 per litre. Some 2.9 million people will benefit from the new scheme, which will set the government back by RM65.4 million a month.